Wilman Garcia,
Jasmine Garcia,
Natalie Logan.
the Briggs Initiative, debating the rights of homosexuals to teach in California's public schools.
In 1977, Anita Bryant led a successful campaign in Dade County, Florida to repeal an ordinance that would have prohibited discrimination in housing and employment based on race, religion, or sexual preference. Her success sparked a wave of anti-homosexual legislation in Oklahoma, Oregon, Minnesota, and Kansas.
In California, State Senator John Briggs introduced legislation to ban homosexuals from teaching in public schools. Proposition 6 became known as the Briggs Initiative and was placed on the November 1978 ballot.
the No on 6 campaign was confronted with polling data indicating that the proposition would pass with overwhelming support. San Francisco City Councilman Harvey Moe worked with a diverse coalition of gay rights activists, labor organizations, and teaching unions to oppose Prop 6.
The Briggs Initiative sparked not only a debate over the legislation itself, but also a debate within the gay community over who should lead the fight for human rights. Prop 6 opponents used the art of diplomacy to convince the voters to oppose legislation they may otherwise support. The ultimate failure of the Briggs Initiative was an important step on the path towards equality.
I am Anita Bryant, beloved singer, Miss America runner-up, and spokesperson for the Florida Citrus Commission. Tonight, the laws of God and cultural values of man have been vindicated. The people of Dade County, the normal majority, have said enough. As a mother, I know that homosexuals cannot biologically reproduce children. Therefore, they must recruit our children. These homosexual adults are living irresponsibly, and in the name of human rights, seek social rights that in reality only give them license for perversion and flaunting their deviant ways. To allow this to continue is only an indication that we are a sick society.
I'm John Briggs, and I was in Miami on the night of Anita Bryant's victory, and I agree with her position on the need to restrict the rights of homosexuals, and thought that I could have some political success if I brought the issue to California.
My name is Harvey Moe, and I want to recruit you. I want to recruit you for the fight to preserve democracy from the John Briggs and Anita Bryants, who are trying to constitutionalize bigotry. We are not going to allow our rights to be taken away.
You're not good enough to get married in the state of California if you're a homosexual couple. You're not good enough for the Army, the Marines, or the Air Force. If you're not good enough for the church, for the Army, if you're not good enough to get married, then how are we to support the notion that you're to serve as role models for school children?
If we're true that children mimic their teachers, you should have a hell of a lot more nuns running around. Gay brothers and sisters, you must come out. Come out to your parents, relatives, friends, neighbors. I know it will be hard and it will hurt them, but think about how that will hurt you in the voting booth. If Briggs wins, he will not stop. There will be no safe closet for any gay person. So break out of yours today. Tear the damn thing down once and for all.
Good morning, San Francisco. I'm Juana Samayoa, and welcome once again to News Talk. As my regular viewers know, we've been examining the issue of Prop 6 this week. We've already had Harvey Milk on the show to discuss his opposition to Prop 6, but because of FCC regulations, we must provide both pro and con on an issue. So today we have Mrs. Lee. She's on the school board in Healdsburg, where they are dealing with a second grade teacher, Larry Berner, who has come out as a homosexual.
We have received over 300 signatures on a petition calling for Berner's dismissal, but the state Supreme Court has already ruled that homosexuality in itself is not grounds for dismissal. So instead, the school board has voted 4-1 for the Briggs Initiative. I will do anything I can to see that this proposition passes.
John Briggs used Berner as an example in the argument he wrote for the official California voters pamphlet. He has come out and said that homosexuals are immoral, they're deviants, and they're perverts. Do you really believe that?
Berner's offense, Juana, was that he was a walking billboard for homosexuality.
Don't you think this is going to lead to some witch hunt? The bill also says that any teacher who defends a homosexual friend can be fired without the benefit of union representation.
You're absolutely right. We have overridden the union labor contract because before 1975's consenting adult law, this was already law. We want to give the voters of California the right to restore the old law.
You know, it's really interesting. Before Briggs came out with this initiative, I would say most school children did not know about homosexuality. But because of Briggs, I think he has actually publicized the homosexual lifestyle. I would now say that most school children know what a homosexual is. I think that's healthy.
My name is David Mixter, and I'm helping from the statewide No on 6 campaign. My good friend Harvey Milk is running the campaign in Northern California, and I've invited Ivy Latini to become the deputy director for the campaign here in Southern California.
There's great tension between gay men and lesbians, and I'm one of a handful of lesbians who work with both groups. I speak to the public, to churches, women's groups, at conferences, and at rallies, wherever I can, to talk about how awful the Briggs Initiative would be.
I have been working on fundraising for the campaign. The Briggs Initiative is outspending us 3-1. Since contributions over $50 to be sent to Secretary of State, we have been getting a lot of $49 checks. People are afraid of having their name on a list. But we're getting a lot of celebrity support, and a day after the newspaper article came out about our fundraising problem, we got over $400,000 in straight contributions.
We have been putting out flyers, posters, handouts, getting press coverage, doing TV and radio commercials. Progressive religion has pretty much moved to our side. In fact, in response to Prop 6, Sister Eileen DeLong has helped form Catholics for Human Dignity, the first state-registered political lobby of Catholics advocating human rights for gay people.
When we spoke to the religious community, we did not ask that they approve of us, but we asked that they recognize the injustice committed against them. With the teachers union, we mentioned the injustice committed against them in this initiative and the ramification for their jobs and their ability to be good teachers.
I'm Arlene Pavey, President of the Garden Grove Educators Association and CTA's Orange County Service Center. At the CTA State Assembly meeting, we officially opposed Prop 6 because it's anti-teacher, it's prejudicial, and it could result in the firing of straight as well as gay teachers. CTA's role is always to protect our members.
We have been using straight teachers on our ads to say how scared they are for their jobs.
State Assemblyman Dennis Mangers has been both a teacher and a principal. He's running for election in Orange County and has also come out against Prop 6. He's said that he knows gay and lesbian teachers and none of them have ever behaved inappropriately. He knows that this is an unfair attack, and if conservatives can launch this kind of attack against gay and lesbians, what would keep them from doing so against the disabled, people of color, or others? It's just wrong.
We have the most prominent conservative politician on our side. My partner Pierce Scott and I arranged a meeting with former Governor Ronald Reagan. Our strategy was not to demand that he approve of me, like me, or even feel comfortable around me. The Constitution of the United States is not about any of that. When you engage in diplomacy, you find common ground. I gave a lot of thought ahead of time to what part of this initiative he might have a problem with. So I said, well, Governor, I'm surprised that you would support an initiative that would cause anarchy and chaos in the public school system. He asked, what are you talking about? And I said, well, if I was a student and I was receiving a failing grade, all I had to do was blackmail the teacher, whether they were or not. I could say they're a member of the LGBT community, and the kids would run the classroom. He said, my goodness, I never thought of that. Have a jelly bean. And the next day he came out against the initiative.
Many politicians have come out in opposition to Prop 6, like Governor Jerry Brown and President Jimmy Carter. But the newspaper editorial that Reagan wrote against the Briggs Initiative was the final push that's turning public opinion around.
On November 7, 1978, voters across the state went to the polls. Proposition 6 was defeated by over 1 million votes. David Bixner said this was a historical turning point because for once they won, and they won big. It invalidated all the hate directed towards the gay community.
Ivy Botini said that the No on 6 campaign was the first time that the lesbian and gay community fought back openly and publicly. They were deliberately coming out of the closets rather than being pulled out. They stepped out of the shadows and into the light.
3 weeks after the victory, Harvey Milk and San Francisco Mayor George Moscone were assassinated. Milk's death signified the ever-present danger of coming out, and a heartbroken gay community realized the struggle for equality was not over but had just begun.
The Briggs Initiative is relevant today as attempts are still being made to restrict homosexual rights. In California, the LGBT community lost the right to marriage equality as a result of Prop 8, an initiative passed in 2009. Both Prop 6 and Prop 8 played on the fear of the homosexual and failed to recognize their basic rights as human beings. Former State Assemblyman Dennis Mangers said, the initiative process has been perverted to a point where it can be used by people like John Briggs to launch these kinds of attacks in a highly public way.
So in the end, it doesn't matter if you are gay or straight, male or female, Democrat or Republican, organized labor or organized religion. When you engage in diplomacy, you find common ground.
Discrimination dies hard, but the debate surrounding the attempt to ban homosexual teachers in California wasn't about gay rights. It was about human rights, about learning that we are way more alike than we are different. And that is ultimately the significance of
The Briggs Initiative.